Then my mother-in-law made me cook while I was at the point of extreme exhaustion. The smell of the food was too much for my pregnant body, and I rushed to the bathroom. I threw up in the toilet, but because I hadn't eaten anything since my mother-in-law had been making me work hard, there was only liquid in my stomach. I felt I was in danger from the very first day. "Hey Lisa, how long are you going to stay in the bathroom? Come out and cook." "I'm sorry." Young people these days really don't have any patience. I don't think the difficulty of pregnancy is something that can be dealt with patience. "How dare you talk back to me? Don't be so proud because you're pregnant. You are so cheeky. I'll knock your rotten guts out." My name is Lisa, and I'm a 27-year-old office worker. My husband Ken and I have been married for 2 years. We both work, but we live together supporting each other. Then, something wonderful happened. I found out that I was pregnant. My husband and I were overjoyed. We were looking forward to the birth of our new family member. And I took maternity leave when I found out I was pregnant. And before I knew it, I was in the last month of pregnancy, and the baby could be born at any moment. Since we were expecting twins, we had to switch from a general hospital to a private hospital that could handle emergency surgeries. It was getting difficult for me to handle my daily life on my own. So my husband suggested that I temporarily live with my parents. My father died when I was a child, and my mother is the only one at home. My husband and my mother have a good relationship, and I'm used to living at her house. It would be the most stress-free place for me. So I have been living with my mother for a few months now. The hospital where I'm going to have my baby is closer to my mother's house too. It's been very comfortable there. But at the critical moment before the birth, I had to face a terrible disaster. It was my mother-in-law. My first impression of my mother-in-law was not bad. She was kind to me when we first greeted each other. She spoke to me openly at family gatherings. But one thing led to another, and I began to see her for what she really was. Why was my mother-in-law involved here? Well, I had to ask her for a favor. My husband is a special design engineer. Just the other day, there was a problem with a local client that he's in charge of. It was something that only my husband could confirm, so he had to go to the client and check the matter himself. And at the same time, my mother had appendicitis and had to be hospitalized for a few days. My husband was worried about me being alone. So he suggested that my mother-in-law stay with me to take care of me. I still had a good impression of my mother-in-law at that time, so I agreed that it would be great if she could come. My mother-in-law agreed, and I thought I could rest easy. But the moment she arrived at my house, she started to go wild. "Oh my God! Your house is such a mess! Do you and your mother clean the house?" She was rude out of the blue, and she even insulted my mother. I had the impression that my mother-in-law was a kind person, so I was taken aback. "Mother, thank you for agreeing to take care of me for the next few days." "Oh, you must have misunderstood something." "What?" "I'm only here to call an ambulance right away in case you get sick. You have to take care of the housework yourself." Oh. Don't try to take advantage of me just because you're pregnant. I'll teach you how to clean your house. Come on, get ready. I had no choice but to obey my mother-in-law. She made me walk around inside the house, and I was forced to clean up every corner. Then my mother-in-law made me cook while I was at the point of extreme exhaustion. The smell of the food was too much for my pregnant body. I rushed to the bathroom. I threw up in the toilet, but because I hadn't eaten anything since my mother-in-law had been making me work hard, there was only liquid in my stomach. I felt I was in danger from the very first day. Hey Lisa, how long are you going to stay in the bathroom? Come out and cook. I'm sorry. Young people these days really don't have any patience. I don't think the difficulty of pregnancy is something that can be dealt with patience. How dare you talk back to me? Don't be so proud because you're pregnant. You're so cheeky. I'll knock your rotten guts out. Tomorrow we'll do a more thorough cleaning. We'll clean the yard and we'll get rid of the weeds. But I don't think I can pull weeds. I'm in my last month of pregnancy. Don't be so lazy. You need to strengthen your legs. You've been spoiled. You've been living a lazy life. You can't raise a child like that. But the doctor told me to rest as long as I could. I know what I'm talking about. I've given birth to my son and my daughter. Listen to me instead of that nonsense doctor. You can go to sleep today. But from tomorrow on, I'll be more strict, so be prepared. My mother-in-law is grinning as she says this. She doesn't want to teach me. She's just enjoying giving me orders and abusing me. I thought that if I continued to listen to her, I might have a miscarriage, so I tried to resist as much as I could. That's enough. Of course it's right to listen to what the doctor says. What you're doing is just bullying your daughter-in-law. How dare you! I knew I couldn't trust you after all. What do you mean? I'm saying I can't trust a child from a single mother. They don't get a good education from their mothers. That's why I didn't want my son to marry you. I see. That's what you were really thinking. Yes, that's right. But you can at least give me grandchildren. As soon as you give me grandchildren, I'm done with you. What do you mean you're done? Well, a separation and a divorce would be ideal. My son and grandchildren can come back to our house. I understand your point. At best, I'll support you until the birth. No, I've had enough. What are you talking about? Without me, the babies will be in danger. Don't be selfish and do as I say. Then my husband came home just in time. Hey Mom, what's going on? What? What do you mean? Why are you home? Didn't you go on a business trip? Luckily, there was no problem, and I could make it home in time today, so I came back. Then I got a message from Lisa asking me for help. I called her and asked her to stay on the line. So our conversation so far? Oh yeah, I heard everything. Mom, What kind of danger are you putting my pregnant wife in?
Well, when I was pregnant,
medicine is much more advanced than it used to be. Of course, the doctor is right. Besides, Lisa is having twins. She's going to have to be more careful than a regular pregnancy. If anything happens to the babies, it's your fault.
Oh no!
Besides, you made fun of Lisa's mother for being a single mother. I didn't know you were like that. You only judge things on the surface.
Well, it's the truth, isn't it? I don't trust single parents. I'm sure their kids don't have a good upbringing anyway.
So that means I and all the other people who work for her mother aren't good people either.
What?
I told you that my mother is a business owner when we met with each other's families.
I thought that was just some bar or something like that. I thought she was just trying to sound cool.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know you had such a prejudice. I thought you were a bit more flexible in your thinking. Lisa's mom is the president of the company I work for. She was recently featured in a business magazine. It was originally her husband's company, but after he passed away, she took over the company. She's been running the company for over 20 years.
Well, I didn't know that.
If you had known, you had changed your attitude? That's bullshit. I hate people who change their attitude depending on the status of the other person. Basically, you've been making fun of Lisa and my mother-in-law all along, right? I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Besides, you put my babies in danger too. I'm cutting ties with you, Mom.
You can't do that?
Don't ever show your face in front of us again.
Wait. I apologize, so please forgive me.
No, I won't forgive you. What you said to Lisa was terrible. I will never be able to forgive you. I'll tell Dad and my sister about this.
Oh no!
Now, if you hurt me, get the hell out of here. My mother-in-law's face was pale, and my husband forced her to leave. I'm really glad he came back soon. If he had left me alone with my mother-in-law, I don't know what would have happened after tomorrow. After that, my mother-in-law went back to my parents-in-law's house. But my husband had told my father-in-law all about it, so my mother-in-law was not allowed in the house. And then my mother-in-law asked my sister-in-law for help. But my husband had also told this to my sister-in-law, so my sister-in-law also refused to help her. My sister-in-law has some problems with her mother-in-law, although not as bad as me, so she could not tolerate her own mother bullying me. My mother-in-law was abandoned by everyone in the family. She went to her father-in-law again and cried and pleaded with him. My father-in-law made her promise to never bully me again. And as my husband told her, never to get involved with us again. She was able to come back to the house then. He also told her that if she broke even the slightest promise, he would divorce her immediately. In addition, as punishment for what she did, he also ordered her to help him with his brother's farm for 3 months. My mother-in-law was forced to work in the heat of summer, reaching the limit of her physical strength. She really deserves it. Meanwhile, I gave birth to healthy twins. My mother was also discharged from the hospital and is happy to hold her grandchildren in her arms. My husband suggested that I stay with my parents for a while until I get used to being a new mother. My husband and my mother both support me to raise the babies and do the housework. We have a strong sense of unity as a family and we care for each other a lot. So we are able to live together in peace and tranquility. By the way, my husband's family members all come to visit us, except my mother-in-law. They are very happy to see our children. I hope to continue to live happily with all my family. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you like. See you in the next video.